I was getting ready for my 26th birthday dinner at my favorite steakhouse downtown, feeling excited about celebrating with my boyfriend Tyler and my closest friends. Everything seemed perfect as I applied my makeup and chose the dress Tyler had complimented weeks earlier. We had been together for 18 months, and I thought we were building something real together. Then my best friend Emma pulled me aside at the restaurant and whispered, "Have you seen Tyler's latest TikTok?" My heart sank as I opened the app and found his video titled, "Rating My Girlfriend's Friends." What I discovered next shattered my entire world. Before I tell you how I completely destroyed his life after discovering this betrayal, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. And if you have ever been humiliated by someone you trusted, smash that like button, because what I did next will give you the most satisfying revenge you have ever seen. Trust me, his public apology was just the beginning of his downfall. Let me give you the full picture of who I am and how I ended up in this nightmare situation. My name is Noelle, and I work as a content creator and social media manager for a successful tech startup here in Denver. I have always been insecure about my appearance, struggling with weight and self-confidence issues since high school. Growing up as the only daughter of wealthy parents with my father running a major construction company, I learned early that people often wanted to be around me for the wrong reasons. I met Tyler Morrison on a dating app 8 months after moving into my own apartment. At 28, he was charming, incredibly good looking, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me as a person. He worked as a freelance graphic designer and talked constantly about his dreams of becoming a social media influencer. His TikTok account had maybe 3,000 followers, but he was convinced that his big break was just around the corner. The first 6 months of our relationship felt like a fairy tale. Tyler was romantic attentive and made me feel beautiful for the first time in my adult life. He would bring me flowers, plan thoughtful dates, and constantly tell me how lucky he was to have found someone as amazing as me. When I introduced him to my father, Dad was initially skeptical, but eventually offered Tyler a part-time position at his construction company doing social media marketing. That was when things started to change, though I was too blinded by love to see the red flags. Tyler moved into my apartment after claiming his lease was up and he needed time to find a new place. Weeks turned into months, and he never seemed to look for anywhere else to live. My father was paying for the apartment, so Tyler contributed nothing to our living expenses. Instead, he spent his days creating TikTok content and complaining about why his videos were not going viral. Tyler became increasingly demanding about expensive things. He wanted designer clothes for his videos, argued that we needed to eat at trendy restaurants for content, and constantly hinted that I should ask my father for more money to support his career. When I suggested he might want to take on more hours at Dad's company, he would get defensive and say I did not understand the demands of being a content creator. My friends had been warning me about Tyler for months, though I refused to listen. Emma, my best friend since college, had always been suspicious of his motives. She pointed out how he flirted with waitresses right in front of me and made subtle comments about my weight disguised as helpful suggestions. Madison, my coworker, noticed how Tyler refused to attend events with my friend group, claiming they were not really his type of people. Sophia, my neighbor, had seen him checking out other women in our apartment complex, and Ashley, my gym buddy, caught him taking photos of attractive girls during our workout sessions. But I was so desperate to believe that someone like Tyler could actually love someone like me that I ignored every warning sign. I made excuses for his behavior, rationalized his unemployment, and convinced myself that I was being paranoid when friends expressed concern. Looking back, I realize I was so grateful for male attention that I was willing to overlook obvious red flags that should have sent me running. The most painful part was how Tyler had gradually eroded my self-confidence while appearing supportive. He would make jokes about my eating habits in front of others, suggest that certain outfits were not flattering on my body type, and constantly compare me to influencers and models he followed on social media. But he always framed these comments as caring advice from someone who wanted me to be my best self. Meanwhile, Tyler was spending increasingly more time on TikTok obsessing over why his videos were not gaining traction. He would analyze successful creators for hours, trying to figure out their secret to viral content. He started experimenting with different types of videos, from comedy sketches to lifestyle content, but nothing seemed to stick. His follower count remained stagnant, which only made him more frustrated and bitter about his lack of success. The night of my birthday dinner started perfectly. Tyler had dressed nicely in clothes I had bought him, and he seemed genuinely excited about celebrating with me. We went to Morton's Steakhouse, my favorite restaurant, with Emma, Madison, Sophia, and Ashley. Tyler was being unusually affectionate, posting Instagram stories about his amazing girlfriend and taking photos of our dinner to share with his followers. About halfway through the meal, Emma excused herself to use the restroom and gestured for me to follow her. In the bathroom, her face was pale and serious in a way that immediately made my stomach drop. "Noelle, I need to show you something, but maybe not here," she said quietly. "What is it?" "Just show me now." I insisted, though part of me already knew I was not going to like whatever she had discovered. Emma reluctantly pulled out her phone and opened TikTok. "Tyler posted this yesterday. I am so sorry." She handed me the phone, and I saw a video with the title, "Brutally Rating My GF's Friends She Doesn't Know." My hands started shaking as I pressed play. The video showed Tyler in our apartment, sitting on the couch I had bought, wearing a shirt I had given him for his birthday. He had screenshots of my friend's social media photos arranged on our coffee table, and he was going through them one by one with a rating scale. "Okay, so my girlfriend has these friends, and she is always talking about how close they are," Tyler said to the camera with a smirk. "I thought it would be fun to rate them honestly, since she will never see this anyway." He started with Emma's photo. "This is Emma 8 out of 10. She is definitely hot, but she seems like she would be high maintenance. Probably has daddy issues, which could be fun." I felt sick watching him objectify my best friend, who was standing 3 feet away from me. Next was Madison. "7 out of 10 for sure. I would definitely hook up with her if I was single. She has that corporate girl vibe that I find attractive. Seems like she would be wild in bed." I wanted to throw the phone against the wall. Then Sophia. 6 out of 10 cute face, but way too short for me. I like my women tall and model-like. Still would not kick her out of bed, though. The casual cruelty of his assessment made my chest tight with rage. Ashley's photo came up next. "Oh wow, 9 out of 10 easily. This girl is an absolute smoke show. Total dream girl material. If Noelle looked like this, I would actually be happy in my relationship." Those words hit me like a physical blow. Then came my photo, and I watched in horror as Tyler's expression changed completely. "And this is my girlfriend. Yes, I am suffering," he said with an exaggerated sigh. "She is fat, ugly, and completely delusional about her looks. I am only with her because her dad pays my bills and buys me nice things. Look at this creature. I honestly do not know how I ended up here. But hey, free rent and designer clothes, am I right?" The comments section was filled with laughing emojis and cruel responses from Tyler's friends. "Bruh, leave that whale," one person wrote. "Bro, you are a saint for sacrificing yourself," said another. "Her dad's money better be worth it," read a third comment. "How do you even get it up with that?" asked someone else with a vomiting emoji. I handed the phone back to Emma and walked to the sink, gripping the marble countertop so hard my knuckles turned white. 18 months of my life had been based on a complete lie. Every sweet word, every romantic gesture, every moment when I had felt beautiful and loved had been an elaborate performance for financial gain. "What do you want to do?" Emma asked gently. Her own eyes filled with tears of anger on my behalf. "I am going to go back out there and finish my birthday dinner." I said, surprising myself with how calm my voice sounded. And I am going to smile and act like nothing happened while I figure out exactly how to destroy him. Walking back to our table, I felt like I was moving through water. Tyler was laughing with my friends, telling some story about his latest video idea, completely oblivious to the fact that his entire world was about to come crashing down. He reached for my hand as I sat down and said, "There is my birthday girl. I was just telling everyone about the surprise I have planned for later." I smiled and squeezed his hand back. "That sounds wonderful, baby. I cannot wait." But inside, I was already planning his complete annihilation. For the rest of the dinner, I played the role of the happy girlfriend while taking mental notes of every lie that came out of his mouth. When he posted more Instagram stories about our perfect night, I made sure to like and comment enthusiastically. After all, I wanted a complete record of his deception. That night, after Tyler fell asleep next to me in the bed, my father paid for, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling and planning my revenge. I spent hours on my phone, screenshotting his TikTok video and all the cruel comments before he could delete them. I researched his other social media accounts and discovered that this was not the first time he had made cruel content about me. There were Instagram stories he had posted months earlier, thinking I would not see them, where he complained about his crazy girlfriend and joked about taking one for the team in exchange for a comfortable lifestyle. For the next 3 days, I acted like nothing had changed. I woke up early to make Tyler breakfast, kissed him goodbye when he left for his part-time job at my father's company, and continued posting happy couple content on my own social media. But behind the scenes, I was methodically preparing for war. The first step was gathering evidence. I created a secret folder on my phone with screenshots of Tyler's TikTok video, all the cruel comments from his friends, and every piece of content where he had mocked or belittled me. I also started documenting the financial support I had been providing, including rent receipts, credit card statements showing purchases I had made for him, and records of the salary my father had been paying him. On day 2, I quietly consulted with a lawyer about potential defamation claims. Tyler's video had been public tagged with my first name and included photos that made me identifiable to anyone who knew us. The lawyer explained that I had grounds for a case, especially since Tyler's statements were demonstrably false and had caused me emotional distress. Day 3 was when I started changing passwords. I removed Tyler from my Netflix account, Amazon Prime, Spotify, and every other service he had been using for free. I also called my bank and removed him as an authorized user on my credit cards, though I was careful not to cancel them immediately since I wanted to catch him in the act of trying to use them. On day 4, I called my father and asked him to meet me for coffee without Tyler knowing. Dad had always been protective of me, and when I showed him the TikTok video, his face went through about 5 different stages of rage before settling on cold determination. That little parasite has been living off our family while humiliating my daughter on the internet. Dad said quietly, his voice carrying the kind of controlled anger that had built a construction empire. "I want him gone, Dad, but I want him to suffer first." "Consider it done. He is fired effective immediately, and I will make sure he never works in this town again. What else do you need?" I outlined my plan, and Dad listened with the focus he usually reserved for million-dollar business deals. By the end of our conversation, Tyler Morrison was about to discover that humiliating the wrong person's daughter had consequences he had never imagined. That afternoon, Tyler came home from work confused and angry. "Your dad just fired me for no reason," he said, throwing his jacket on the floor. "He said something about budget cuts, but I think he just does not like me. Can you talk to him?" "That is terrible, honey," I said, wrapping my arms around him. "I am sure it is just a misunderstanding. Maybe you can freelance more while you look for something else." What Tyler did not know was that every freelance client he had ever worked with had received an anonymous email that afternoon containing links to his TikTok video. By evening, 3 different clients had terminated their contracts with him, citing unprofessional conduct and incompatible values. Day 5 was when I unleashed the nuclear option. I spent my lunch break creating the most devastating TikTok video of my life. The title was, "My Ex-Boyfriend Rated Me 0-10 While Living Off My Family's Money," and it was a masterclass in righteous fury wrapped in calm professionalism. I started the video sitting in my car, speaking directly to the camera, with Tyler's original video playing on a tablet beside me. Hi everyone, my name is Noelle, and I want to share something that happened to me that I think other people need to see. 3 days ago, I discovered this video that my boyfriend posted without my knowledge. I played clips from Tyler's original video, letting his own words condemn him. Then, I pulled out printed bank statements and receipts. For the past 18 months, this man has been living in an apartment my family pays for using credit cards we provided and eating food we bought, all while creating content about how disgusting and pathetic I am. The video went viral within hours. By evening, it had over 500,000 views, 10,000 comments, and had been shared across every social media platform. The comment section was flooded with support from other women who had experienced similar emotional abuse, as well as complete strangers who were outraged by Tyler's cruelty. Tyler discovered the video when he started getting texts from friends asking if it was really him in the viral TikTok. He rushed home to find me calmly packing his belongings into trash bags. "What the hell did you do?" He screamed, his face red with panic and rage. "You just destroyed my entire life." "No," I said without looking up from folding his clothes. "You destroyed your own life the moment you decided to humiliate me on the internet while living off my family's generosity. I just made sure everyone else could see what kind of person you really are. You cannot kick me out. I live here." I handed him a letter from my father's lawyer. "Actually, I can. You never signed a lease, you have never paid rent, and you have been living here as my guest. That guest privilege has been revoked. You have 24 hours to collect your belongings." Tyler's phone was buzzing constantly with notifications as the viral video continued to spread. He tried to call his friends for support, but most of them were not answering their phones. The few who did were angry that they had been included in his original video without consent and were now being associated with his public humiliation. That evening, Tyler posted a desperate apology video to his TikTok account. "I made a huge mistake," he said, clearly fighting back tears. "I was young and stupid, and I hurt someone who did not deserve it. Noelle, if you are watching this, please forgive me. I love you, and I want to make this right." The apology video was immediately flooded with negative comments. People were sharing it with the crying, laughing emoji, pointing out that he was only sorry because he got caught, and noting that his tears seemed more about losing his comfortable lifestyle than genuine remorse for the pain he had caused. By the end of the week, Tyler's life had completely unraveled. The viral video had been picked up by local news stations who ran a story about social media gold digger gets exposed. His TikTok follower count had actually grown, but only because people wanted to follow him to continue mocking him. Every video he posted was immediately ratioed with negative comments, and his dreams of influencer success had been permanently destroyed. Tyler's final desperate move was showing up at my office building with a poster board sign that read, "Please forgive me, I am sorry for everything." He sat on the sidewalk outside for 3 days straight, becoming a local curiosity as people took photos and videos of him to post online. The building's security eventually had to remove him when his presence started disrupting business, but not before he had become an even bigger meme than the original video had made him. In the months that followed Tyler's public downfall, my life transformed in ways I never could have imagined. The viral video brought me an enormous amount of attention, but surprisingly, most of it was positive. My TikTok account exploded from a few hundred followers to over 500,000 people who appreciated my honesty and courage in exposing emotional abuse. The immediate aftermath was intense. Local news stations wanted interviews, podcasts reached out for guest appearances, and brands started offering partnership deals. But more importantly, thousands of women shared their own stories of similar experiences in the comments and direct messages. I realized that what had happened to me was not unique. It was part of a larger pattern of men using women for financial support while secretly despising them. Tyler's consequences were swift and permanent. Within a month, he had been forced to move back in with his parents in a small town 3 hours away from Denver. His attempts to rebuild his social media presence failed spectacularly as the viral video followed him everywhere online. Every time he posted new content, people would comment with screenshots from his original video and reminders of what he had done. His dating life became non-existent. Women who might have been interested in him would inevitably Google his name and find the viral video. A few brave souls shared screenshots of their conversations with Tyler on dating apps, showing how he would try to explain away his behavior or claim that I had taken his words out of context. These conversations would then be shared on social media, creating a cycle of accountability that followed him everywhere. Professional consequences were equally severe. The construction industry in Colorado is surprisingly small, and word about Tyler's character spread quickly through my father's professional network. Job applications were rejected as soon as potential employers did background checks that revealed his online infamy. The few minimum wage positions he managed to get rarely lasted long as coworkers would recognize him and create hostile work environments. For me, the healing process was gradual but profound. I started therapy to work through the emotional damage Tyler had caused and to understand why I had been so willing to accept his subtle abuse for so long. Dr. Sarah Martinez helped me recognize the patterns of manipulation Tyler had used and taught me how to identify red flags in future relationships. The therapy revealed that Tyler had been systematically destroying my self-confidence from almost the beginning of our relationship. His helpful suggestions about my appearance, his flirtation with other women, and his constant comparisons to social media models had all been deliberate tactics to keep me insecure and dependent on his validation. Learning about these manipulation techniques was both painful and empowering. 6 months after the viral video, I received an unexpected phone call from Tyler's mother. She was crying as she begged me to post a video asking people to stop harassing her son. She explained that Tyler had become depressed and was struggling to find work or maintain any kind of normal life. She claimed that he had learned his lesson and just needed a chance to move on. "I understand that he hurt you," she said through tears, "but he is still my son, and watching him suffer like this is breaking my heart. Could you please find it in your heart to show mercy?" I listened to her entire plea before responding calmly. "Your son spent 18 months emotionally abusing me while living off my family's money. He made me feel worthless while pretending to love me. The consequences he is experiencing are the natural result of his own choices and actions. I will not be helping him escape accountability for his behavior." But people are still sharing that video and making comments. When will this end? It will end when people stop being interested in the story. That timeline is not up to me. It is up to your son and how he chooses to conduct himself going forward. After I hung up, I felt no guilt about refusing to help Tyler. The viral video had taught him a lesson that his parents apparently had never bothered to teach. Actions have consequences, and treating people cruelly will eventually catch up with you. 1 year later, my life had transformed completely. I was in a healthy relationship with Marcus, an accountant who had reached out after seeing my story and wanted to tell me how much he admired my strength. Unlike Tyler, Marcus had his own career, paid his own bills, and genuinely seemed to enjoy spending time with me without any ulterior motives. I had also launched a successful consulting business, helping people build authentic social media presences and avoid the pitfalls of trying to become viral for the wrong reasons. My experience with Tyler had given me unique insights into the dark side of social media culture and the ways people could be exploited by those seeking fame and financial gain. The platform I had gained from the viral video allowed me to become an advocate for others who had experienced emotional abuse in relationships. I started speaking at colleges and workshops about recognizing manipulation tactics and building healthy boundaries. The feedback from these events was overwhelming, with many young women thanking me for helping them identify similar patterns in their own relationships. Tyler, meanwhile, remained stuck in the consequences of his choices. 2 years later, he was still living with his parents, working sporadically at jobs that rarely lasted more than a few months, and completely unable to maintain romantic relationships. His few attempts to rebrand himself on social media had failed, and the original video continued to surface whenever he tried to establish any kind of online presence. The most important lesson I learned from this experience was about the power of accountability in the digital age. Tyler had assumed that he could say cruel things about me online without consequences because he thought I would never find out. He had underestimated both my intelligence and my willingness to fight back when I discovered the truth. I also learned about the importance of trusting my instincts about people's character. Looking back, there had been countless red flags that I had ignored because I was so desperate to believe that someone like Tyler could genuinely care about someone like me. The experience taught me that authentic love does not require you to diminish yourself to make someone else feel important. The viral video became a permanent part of my life story, but rather than being ashamed of it, I embraced it as a symbol of my refusal to accept mistreatment. It served as a warning to anyone else who might consider using me for financial gain while secretly despising me. I would not go quietly, and I would not protect their reputation at the expense of my own dignity. They say the internet never forgets, and sometimes that is exactly the justice the world needs. Tyler thought he could humiliate me in private while using me in public, but he learned that in the digital age, private cruelty has very public consequences. And honestly, I hope his story serves as a warning to anyone else who thinks they can build their life on someone else's kindness while tearing them down behind their back. Have you ever discovered that someone you trusted was saying terrible things about you behind your back? How did you handle finding out that a relationship was built on lies and financial convenience rather than genuine feelings? Share your own experiences in the comments below, because I know I am not the only person who has been through something like this. Do not forget to smash that like button if this story gave you the satisfaction of seeing justice served to someone who truly deserved it. Subscribe to my channel for more real stories about standing up to emotional abuse and finding the strength to fight back when people try to take advantage of your kindness. Please share this video with anyone who needs to be reminded that they deserve better than someone who pretends to love them while mocking them behind their back. Remember that you teach people how to treat you by what you are willing to accept. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to refuse to tolerate disrespect from anyone, regardless of how much you care about them. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it inspires you to value yourself enough to walk away from anyone who does not see your worth.